Hello once again to the Plays the Thing, and I'm going to open up this show a different way. My daughter Jill sent me this cup, and it is just so like me, and it says, "I'm doing this job to keep myself busy between films." Well, that's why I'm doing this show. I just had to share this with everybody. Well, Jean Marie, welcome to my show. And you wrote this beautiful book, Inspired Blessings. I see it, you have it here in hardcover and softcover. So let's just find out what inspired you to write this book.
Thank you, Judy, first of all, for letting me be on your show. I do appreciate it. Yes, the book being Inspired Blessings, led by God to inspire the world with love, faith, and hope. And the reason why I was inspired to write this book was, I guess you could say in the fall of 2010, I was walking in the parking lot, and all of a sudden I heard, "Do the book." And I was like, "You're right, that makes sense." And I took a leap of faith. And because previous to that, I actually used to have stores selling my inspiration, so I guess I was thinking of how could I bring it back in maybe in the form of a greeting card line and things like that. And so I really feel that the Holy Spirit had inspired me to take that leap of faith, because if you knew my prior experience in writing, is that I don't have any prior experience in writing. And I didn't go to college either, so this would have been really the last thing that I would have ever thought could have been possible. But what God has shown me, that with Him, all things are possible.
So when you said you had a calling, so what you do, you took a pencil and you started writing whatever came to your mind, or how did you start?
No, I started out in my book, actually, the first page being how I was laying in bed with my kids one morning, and all of a sudden I started singing. And I was like, let me write down what I'm singing. And that morning I wrote down little 5 short prayer songs. And little did I know
By
that
hand?
was... Yep, I went and got a pad and pencil and just started to write it down. And little did I know, but that was the birth of Inspired Blessings.
Well, yeah, that's how it comes. I also feel that something either above or inside us makes us do things, just inspiration.
Yes, and you know what I'm amazed at now that the hindsight of looking, or the fact that of looking at what happened, now, and to see what God has blessed me with this, is that I took that leap of faith when I really should have been scared to take that leap of faith. But I didn't even question it, and I just did it, because I just felt that, in my heart, that this was of God, and that I really felt that, there was a reason to write this book, which is to get the message out about Him and His truth.
This is very good that you're saying, because I really believe in that myself, because sometimes I write and then I don't even know where it comes from, but it's just coming.
Oh, yeah.
And it surprises me that it came out of me.
Yeah.
So anyway, how long did it take you to write this book?
Well, like I said, it started in the fall of, it started in 1998 when I, was laying in bed with my kids, like I said, and I started to write down little 5 short prayer songs. And in the first 2 years, from there on, God had blessed me with many inspirations, and basically they would take about a half hour to an hour, and they averaged about 20 lines. And the thing is that, like I said, I don't have any experience to do this. And at times, all of a sudden, I'd be driving along the road, and some of these inspirations came out as songs. So what I would do is actually I would have a tape recorder in the car, and I would just actually sing into it. And again, I'm not a singer, I'm not a writer, I'm not anything to do with the music world, but I'm praying that there was a reason why I was inspired to write those inspirations, and that they came out with a melody, is that one day that they would become songs, and I'm praying that God will provide the Christian artists that would be willing to sing those songs.
This is just so true, and I'm so glad you are here to talk about it.
Thank you.
So I see that you have some bookmarks. Is that you're going to read something from there?
Yeah, I want to give you an idea what the book is about, first of all. And on the back of it, it's I have written is, have you ever lost a loved one and didn't know how to find peace? Wonder why life is consumed with so much violence and destruction. Ask if God is real, and does he provide a meaning for our existence? Do you have the answers for the souls that are searching, or are you searching as well? These writings may be a source of comfort and joy for you. I've seen these inspirations touch people's hearts, bring them to tears, mend relationships, and give them hope. You will read about individuals who have witnessed God's miracles in their lives. This is a book of substance written to help readers face the trials and temptations that await us all. And I have a tagline for my book. It's keep inspired blessings within arm's reach to help give you comfort when others are at a loss for words. And so many times we see different people in different situations, the trials, and sometimes you really don't know what to say. And so I just felt that sometimes my book has been able to say what you would like to say, but didn't know how to put it into the words. And
Yeah,
so
that's
only
very
through the
helpful.
Holy Spirit, I really feel that I've been inspired to be able to write this for the people in the different situations that they go through in their lives.
Well, would you like to read something from the book?
Sure. Yes, I would. And I think I probably, faith being tested, because I just feel like right now, so many people in this world, their faith is being tested, whether or not it has something to do with, their family situation where they might know somebody who's, dying of a terminal illness, or the fact that, accidents, and I hate to say these days, a lot of people, too many bad stories on the news you hear, okay? Faith being tested. When a trial comes into your life as an unexpected guest, do you really have the faith to believe and to endure the test? Your faith will be tested in ways that seem unimaginable. At times, it is even harder to comprehend the meaning of it. Your mind is confused, trying to analyze everything that is unknown, wondering if you could stop the test, realizing that your faith is weak. You are not expected to do it all by yourself. Don't let pride make you fail. God allows trials to happen in your life to see if you're willing to grow. His timing may not be on your calendar, but it was on his before you were born. He's waiting for you to call out his name so you can receive his power, and he will strengthen you in your trial with his love and grace. Then you will see miracles in your life that seem impossible for man. Your faith is tested to see if you have the conviction to believe. Faith is invisible to the eyes and not always easy to have, but with God's power it becomes real for all who know that God can make all things possible. He knows what our heart desires, and there's nothing that is kept secret from him because we are his children. Take the time to see the greater purpose of your trial by being patient and waiting upon the Lord for the blessings that he will give you, because you really did have the faith to believe.
That's beautiful.
And
that really is,
thank
and
you.
it's so true.
And I'm telling you, this was written, and I emphasizing a half hour to an hour, and absolutely no way that I would have been able to write that, especially not even having the experience of knowing how to write. So it's just amazing what God has done, and I just feel like this book is definitely a miracle.
Well,
a
I
miracle
feel
story.
that this would help a lot of people, like you said,
Yes.
who are in distress for one
Yeah.
reason or another.
Right.
So
And
this is a good book to read.
And if you don't mind, I'd like to read this inspiration. When the Newtown tragedy happened, okay, I mean, that was a devastation to see all those children.
Oh gosh, horrible.
Okay? Yes. And so on my website, what you will see is, besides the fact that, if you go to inspiredblessings.com, is that you can purchase my book, as well as you can be able to purchase 8x10 unframed inspirational prints. And this is how it comes, so this way people then can be able to frame it in the frames that they would like. And God had blessed me with over 100 of them, and they're on my website. And you'll find them for many different types of topics that you wouldn't even, that I haven't seen in cart stores, okay? But after the events of the Newtown tragedy, basically is that I think like a week or 2 weeks later, I actually was inspired to write 2 new inspirations because of that tragedy. And so the day after Christmas, my son and I actually drove up to the Newtown Fire Department there, and
You did.
well, it's because I just felt like God gave this to me to write, so there had to be a reason, and it was for me to give it to them. So I gave them each, their own prints. And for the children's family, I had given the Our Little Angel inspiration, and then for the teachers, God is mourning with you. But this is what God had blessed me to write and to give them. It's called Our Little Angel. It was just an ordinary day when we got our little angel off to school with backpack hanging, lunch pack in hand, and I love you kisses. Looking back at how cute and innocent our precious child looked made us smile with pride and proud that we were blessed with God's little angel. Today was a day that changed our lives in the most surreal way. A horrible, evil act without any warning snuffed the breath of life from our little angel. We were shocked, confused, and wondering, could this really be true? Not sure if we could go on. We needed to know what happened. As we cried in pain, we never realized how deep the ache could feel in our hearts. Our little angel's life flashed before our eyes the first time we saw God's little miracle. From the crib to the playpen, coos to the first words, and from crawling to walking. Our little angel's laughter was contagious to all who knew our precious child. The innocence of our little toddler was always such a sweet remembrance. Our little angel was not given the chance to grow to live life fully, but why? We may never know, but with very deep anguish, we had to let our baby go. If we could have known, we would have shielded our precious one from that day's evil. We are so sorry, our little angel, that we were never given the chance to save you. We thought you were safe, and we wish we could have protected you. We will live with this pain forever, but we will pray that God will help us through it. We were blessed to have had you in our lives for a short time, but God must have missed you so much that he wanted you home. He will take care of you, our little angel, because of his great love for you. Our Father in heaven knew you way before we set our eyes upon you. So do not be afraid, because he is the God who created you and blessed us. You will never fear anything evil anymore, because our God is greater. He will love you even more than we could ever think possible. Thank you, God, for giving us the pleasure of taking care of your little angel. Of course, we would have wished it would have lasted a fuller lifetime. We may still not understand the meaning of our trial, and we may never know. So we are going to need your help every day to deal with this in your love. By your grace, please give us peace that surpasses all understanding. Most of all, please tell our little angel that we will miss our baby very much, and never will a day go by that we will not say, we love you, our little angel. You know?
Isn't that sweet? That's very nice.
So it's, like I said, God had blessed me to write it, and I just felt that they should have it in their homes.
And you said that you're imagining that some of these things can be put to music?
Yes, yeah. I mean, they came out with the melodies, so I'm just hoping that God provides the Christian artist to give me a call. But I want to talk more about the book because kind of understanding what the book is about as well is that I take 4 themes in my book, and basically the first theme being how I took that leap of faith, okay, and how God could take somebody who had no experience in writing but makes her a writer. And how he also speaks to me throughout that theme, where when he speaks to me, I actually answer him back, okay? And what you'll also find out is that about 14 years ago, there's this lady who had the gift of prophecy named Linda. And I talk about how I had maybe at the time only written 5 inspirations. And I said to her, I said, Linda, I said, what do you think of these inspirations? So as she's reading them, all of a sudden she goes, oh, Jean-Marie, I just got a vision. I was like, what? She goes, you're going to be writing a book. You're going to be doing some kind of a movie, and you're going to be speaking at all different places. And I laughed at her, and I said, you're kidding me, right, Linda? I said, there's absolutely no way that I could be able to do that, because I know that I don't have that experience to be, in that category of doing that. Anyway, it turns out that God told me to do the book.
Yeah.
The next day, I call her up. I'm like, Linda, I haven't spoken to her in a while because our church had closed and things like that. And I said to her, I said, I just felt like God wanted me to tell you something, but he told me to do the book. And she goes, Jean-Marie, you're not going to believe it. I said, what? She goes, remember I tell you that you had given me 3 inspirations over time, and she says, and every day I read them, because I almost read them as if they're prayers. And she said, and yesterday when I was reading them and I read the last one, she said, God, I don't understand. You gave me this vision. Nothing ever became of it. Whatever happened? Like, why? The next day I'm like, hey, Linda, God told me to do the book.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then P.S., I'm thinking the YouTube, you know, when she's saying about the movie, and I'm like, oh, yeah, they're going to do a movie about me. Who am
You
I?
never know.
Who am I? You know, anyway. So
Yeah.
it turns out that I've done 30 YouTubes. And now this will be number 31. Because when God told me to do the book, I actually started a YouTube for people to follow me along the journey. So this book looked totally different of what I thought it was going to be. You know what I'm saying? So people got to see me. So my YouTubes and my website is really a journal of inspired blessings. That's what it is, because there are so many different things that God had already me do in the first year between doing, you know, TV interviews and newspaper articles. Like here, actually,
Oh,
is
yes.
that Dimensions for Living. Smithtown News did a full-page article. They did a great job, and I definitely have to give a shout-out to Corey Atwar. He did a great job with this. Anybody who reads this article, you know, really
This
was
is
very
it.
touched by it. Yeah. And so, you know, besides that, is that, you know, God has also blessed me to do, you know, radio interviews, and I was blessed to do a radio interview with Pastor Richard Anderson on WLIX. But there's so many different events, from book signings to different things that I would not remember of all the different things that.
So where
that
can
he
you
has.
get this book?
You can get it on my website, like I said, and on my website is also the unframed inspirational prints as well. But if you do want an ebook, Amazon.com and Barnes & Nobles, they sell it on the ebook as well.
Wow,
But
it's
you know,
amazing.
yeah, and you know, so with this, I just feel that you know, so that's the first thing, okay? And there's a lot in the first theme. The second theme is, Judy, I don't know if you realized, but the second theme is I talk about my life. And my life actually started from I was found 2 days old in a bathroom in Korea. Yeah, see, you didn't know that.
No.
Yeah.
How would I?
I know, I know.
I usually ask my guests where you were born and where you're from.
Right.
I never got to that part.
Right, right. So what it is I share about that in my book. I talk about the trials and the blessings of how I ended up coming to America, and also finding my faith in Jesus Christ. And so the thing is that I talk about why sometimes you see too many kids either taking the guns and shooting other kids because of other kids being making fun of them and things like that. But but they need to realize is that you know, that they need to realize that God loves them. You know, that's the first you know, priority that they should realize. And I know sometimes the rest of the people in the world are going to say sometimes things that hurt you. I mean, growing up and being the only second or third Asian in a public school, I was a minority. And so when you're the minority,
So
you
who
are
adopted
made fun
you?
of. So I talk about is that I had an Irish mother, Italian father, and 4 instant brothers.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
So who found you in the?
I don't know.
You don't know who
yeah,
found you?
I don't know the behind story of my.
So how far you remember?
I don't really remember much, but I was in the orphanage till I was 5 years old.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, so I guess it's better that I don't sometimes remember, because sometimes if it wasn't a good experience, it's something you don't want to remember. And you know, then you have people that say, "Oh, you ever want to search and find out who your parents are and things like that?" And I guess again, it's good that I don't really think about it or dwell into it, because I've heard of too many stories where adopted parents are talking about an adopted child searching for their, you know, biological parents, and meanwhile it's destroying their life, that they're not
Yeah.
living in the present moment.
Right.
So I'm just glad that God has given me a lot of blessings in the fact that I just live for today, you know.
So how did you get to the Hamptons?
Well, actually, I grew up in East Islip.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's where.
That's where
Yeah.
you grew up and you went to school there?
Right. So I started there when I was 5 years old. I started kindergarten right away. Amazing that I don't have any Asian accent at all. So people are amazed when I show up at the door, because because I definitely don't sound like you know, because I really
Yeah,
have no
you
accent.
don't have an accent, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
yeah.
still have an accent.
Yeah. But, you know, so I talk about that, but like I said, and what's important in my book is my faith, because without my faith, this book wouldn't be possible. Okay, I would have
Yeah.
never taken that leap of faith. I trusted God, and in fact, that's why I said I know what I heard, and you know, for me to answer back, and that's what I've realized is that when God has spoken to me in the past, I answer him back, and so then I realized the fact that you're right, you know, and so the thing is that I talk about how I believed in God when I was growing up. Because I was told to believe in God, but I really believe that stories in the Bible were true. Not really sure. So then, you know, I talk about and share how I ended up. I was invited to a Bible study, and then I ended up going there, and all of a sudden, as I'm, you know, asking a lot of questions because I was pessimistic, and there's a lot of people that are very pessimistic, and then I'm hoping the fact that maybe after they're reading my book from front to back, that maybe they would believe. Because
You know, it is very interesting that you say you were very pessimistic and then you came to write a book, like you became a true believer.
well, yeah, because
It is-
well, that's you know, because like I was mentioning, is that I went to the Bible study and I was asking a lot of questions, and all of a sudden one day it just clicked, black and white to me, that I'm like, you're right. Jesus really is the Son of God. He really did die for my sins. I understand why he had to come down to die for us, you know? And I understand that I was a sinner, that I was not perfect, and that I needed, you know, I needed him to be my sacrificial lamb, to sacrifice his life for me, for my sins, so that I would have eternal salvation into heaven. And I just really feel John 3:16. I know you will see that Bible verse from, you know, time to time, but it's so true. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, so that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. And you know what I'm thankful for is that my common sense outweighs my unbelief that God isn't real. You know what I'm saying? The fact that I've got common sense to realize if I look in this room, somebody made, okay, each material things. You could put a name to who made this plant or this tablecloth, but who has the knowledge to be able to make human beings, animals, plants,
Only
you know, living
God.
things? Only God. Only God has the intelligent design, you know, the intelligence to be able to do that. I mean, when you look into the making of a cell and how intricate it is, how could that possibly be? And as intricate as that little cell is, it dies every 3 to 6 months, and then a new one's replenished. You know, only God would have the wisdom to be able to do that. And so people that are sometimes searching and not knowing if God is real, is that I'm praying that they will, through reading my book from front to back, because of the fact that I take the 4 themes and they're intertwined, that they would come to realize, yeah, you know what? Maybe it'll give them something to question, something to ponder. Maybe God is real.
Well, I find this very intriguing how all this came to you and all that. There's only one thing that I don't agree upon, because you talk about Jesus Christ and all that, because I am Jewish and I believe in God and I believe in all the things, except I don't look upon Jesus Christ as my Savior.
Okay.
But I respect your feelings and the way you do.
Right, I appreciate that. If I could just say is in the Old Testament, I believe it's Isaiah 53. If when you get a chance, if you can read that, and you tell me in Isaiah 53, who are they talking about? Okay,
Oh.
all right. And so I think, you know, after reading that, you'll see, wow, you know what? It sounds like Jesus. That they're talking about. Anyway, so that's something for you to do, you know, on your own. But
Yeah.
Continue with this is too, the third theme that I take in this book is how God blessed me with over 100 inspirations. And I take 40 of them and I put them in the book. And I put who inspired me to write it, what circumstances inspired me to write that inspiration. And so I wrote like an inspiration after Columbine High School, okay? Right? I wrote something after September 11th.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. So you have
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah, and so just kind of give you an idea, yeah, it's called Tragedy in Our Nation. And you know what? I didn't have that bookmarked, but what's good is that you'll find is that I got 40 chapters here, and then I got each page of the inspirations as well. So
Yeah.
you can be able to then look back at and to be able to read it when you have a day that you need maybe something to lift you up.
Do you want to mention about some awards you have won?
Well, no, it's pretty much I had just applied for, you know, a award, and in fact of, and they read it, and it was a national award. I was a finalist for short stories for the Indie Excellence Award.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that was my first year when the book came out. Like
When did this book come out?
Yeah, just the fall of 2011. So this is my, I guess you could say my second
And-
year that it's starting to go.
Who was the publisher?
I self-published it through Legwork Publishing, yeah, in Hauppauge. But I just felt like, you know what, that God had wanted me to have a say throughout the process of this, and so
Well,
I'd
this
have
is something I could see that you want to you want to give it to the world. You want everybody to read it because it's very helpful.
Oh, yes. And, you know, so the inspirations that I chose were about, you know, even, for instance, somebody committing suicide, possibly, you know, contemplating suicide. And the last theme is that I actually wrote about 14 individuals, and I put their true stories in the book as well, their blessings and their trials.
Juan, I want to thank you for coming. You're a delightful person,
Thank you.
good guest.
Thank you, Judy.
And I want to thank Lupita for doing my hair.
Yeah, it looks great.
And some of the underwriters is Bill Miller, Stewart Seafood Shop, Judy Sleed, my daughter, Donald Scott, oh, he's a wonderful friend, Paul Brennan, and Colin Mayer, and Taylor Cohn. And I would invite some more underwriters to keep this show going. So it's been really wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. I appreciate it.